So here we are.
Dude, I'm happy to have you. I know you don't do a lot of podcasts, but here we are. Have you ever listened to my shit or no?
Just the stuff that you have on Instagram.
Cool. Well, anything that I can't touch on or talk about with you?
Nope, you are free game.
Okay, how much time you got? I just want to be respectful.
At least 2 hours.
Yeah, I was thinking I got a thing at 1:30, so if we could wrap it up by like 1:15, I think we'll be money. That'll be just over 2.
Okay, yeah,
As
no
long as you
problem.
got shit to say, don't make me carry us the whole conversation, you know?
That won't be a problem.
I don't think it will be either. So you're out northwest Montana, right?
Yeah, pretty much Canada.
Pretty much Canada. Where are you from?
Sun Valley, Idaho.
Okay. Why Montana?
Because I couldn't afford to go back to where I was born.
So you buy property in fucking Whitefish?
That's before it blew up and turned into, oh, you're in Whitefish. Now it's just, now I couldn't afford to be here now if I wanted to.
That's all right.
So I got in here at the exact right time.
Bite off more than you can chew and figure out a way to muscle it down.
That's exactly what my life has been.
Yeah. Before we jump into your life, I have to put this into the universe because I need to hold myself accountable and you're going to help me through this. My dad, who has apparently been listening to all of my shows now, he's like loving it. He's like, "You've been cursing too much, son. Clean it up. It's unprofessional." So I've already dropped an F bomb within the first 2 minutes of this pod. I'm going to try to limit the F bombs, Pops. I'm sorry. I'm getting better. So,
Just tell Pops it's passion, Father. This is passion. My passion gets away from me.
well, you should hear the way him and I talk, and he wonders why I'm dropping F bombs on the podcast. So I'm gonna try to be professional today.
What's your father's name?
His name is Jeff
And what was Jeff's father's name?
Durwood. Actually, have you ever heard of that?
Durwood. That's actually pretty cool. So your
Yeah.
introduction should actually be, I am Tyler, son of Jeff, son to Durwood of the lands of where's Durwood from? Now you have to know where he's from so you can officially announce what land he's from. The lands of Arizona or the East Coast. Like, we need to bring that back so people know who our fathers were.
You caught me with my pants down here. I mean, Michigan somewhere. I
Yeah, the
think.
lands of Michigan, of the
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
You could
You'd
really make that impressive.
you'd think I'd have this whole spiel down with a friggin' bunch of Game of Thrones tattoos, you know?
We won't get that gay, okay?
No doubt. No doubt. Vaughn, I know you got a hell of a story, man. To be transparent with you, I'm not quite sure where I want to start. How old are you?
42. Right, it's
42.
funny. Yeah, but if you ask my kids, I tell them I'm 32. And they always look at me like, Dad, you are older. And I'm just like, well, in my mind, I'm a lot younger. So that's kind of where I'm trying to teach them mindset. And myself as well, because I don't feel like I'm 42.
Good. That's the point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's the
but
point.
yeah, you do know a lot of my story of what I've told, but I mean, there's still stuff where I'm just like, oh yeah, that happened and this happened. Like before the whole saga began, and for people who don't know, I lived in Utah for 11 years, and then I moved up to Montana right during the beginning, pretty much of COVID. Right when people were really starting to take it serious is when I moved. So yeah, so right after that, I'll just bring this into it. I accidentally ran over my dog. So
Dude,
it's
you're not the first person I've heard of doing that. Did it
yeah,
live?
dude. Nope. It was instant. So little Frenchy guy. So and it was bad because all my kids were in the truck with me, and they didn't know I was able to cover it up. I was just like, oh, he ran away. Don't know. Like yeah. So it was bad, but that was kind of the start off of the I guess series of challenges that God had set up for me prior to, or I guess right when I moved to Montana.
Was this like in the driveway backing out or what?
Yeah, so I have a mile-long driveway um, to where my property is at, and I had a Belgian Malinois and a Frenchie, and right when I get to the driveway, I just let them run, and they would just take off. But this day, for some reason, they didn't just take off, so they came back, and I was maybe going 1-2 miles an hour, just really slow, being like, "Okay, guys, what are you doing? Go back and run." And then he must have just tripped or something right on the front tire, and that was that. So.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just one of those things when people say like man's best friends and like dogs, how much comfort they do for people and everything like that. It takes a different meaning when you're the one responsible for taking like one of your best friend's lives, and you're like, man, because you also take your emotional support, because dogs are a lot of emotional support for men as well. So it definitely put things into perspective for me then, because my kids, asking where their little friend is. So then in essence, you're responsible for taking their little friend too. So it's
Yeah.
a lot of, and then you're just like, it wasn't my fault. And then you're just like, come to terms with it. You're like, yeah, that was my fault. So it's coming to terms in a different way.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I've got three, 10, 8, and 7. The youngest two are Irish twins. So I always slow down when I'm like, wait a minute, how old are they now?
Do you enjoy being a father?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I want more kids because I know I'm just a really good dad. So that's just one thing that I'm just like, hey, if God wants to give me, if he enables me to be blessed with more kids, like I am all for that.
What makes you a good dad?
Because the way my parents were raised, they didn't, they were good parents, they were good providers, but they weren't friends. And the way they explained things, it just wasn't. It wasn't in a. It's almost like skipping a generation. Skipping the generational trauma, because they were both farmers and their parents were just hard nosed. Like, you don't talk about your feelings. You don't talk about. You don't question things. You don't question authority. Authority. You just go with the grind. Me, I love like being so open candid with my kids. I love spending time with them, playing with them, running with them, being what a dad should be. Because my dad never ran with me. He never, got on the ground and wrestled with me like core memories, like maybe a few times. But, I just always remember him being out of breath. And, for me being a parent, I'm like, that's not the way it should be. It should be us always tackling with them. And they're like, oh, that's dad. He's always going to challenge me or, you know, get on my level. So like with my kids, it's so candid, and there's such a difference between when my kids are with, divorced, by the way, for those listeners who don't know, right when we got to Montana, soon got divorced after that. So I have my kids 50% of the time. And the transparency is that when they're with their mom, it is night and day difference than when they're with me. Because like, if, you'll see the plane in the sky, and you'll see the crop dusting, and, my little daughter, and she'll look up and she'll be like, it's the government, you know?
Sounds like my wife.
That's the way it should be. Yeah. So just very transparent about life and the government and how they poison our foods, and how we have to be conscious of what we put in our bodies, and how, Doritos are bad. Sugar is bad. It tastes really good, but you don't want that crap. You don't want McDonald's. Yeah, it's really good. It's tasty. It smells good, but you don't want to put that in your body. So it's just raising them so just blunt force, like, this is the truth. This is how it is. And I also just love being a dad. I love like them coming with the questions and educating them. I used to want to be a teacher, a religious teacher, but things changed. But I do love the teaching aspect as well. And as I mean, how old is your child? Are your kids?
The boy's 9 months tomorrow.
That's it, 9 months. Yeah, so you're just right at that, nonverbal communication of just
Oh,
love,
he's
them
verbal.
being
Let me
able to
tell you.
express themselves.
Yeah, he's verbal. I'll tell you that much. He don't know what he's
Dude,
saying, but he's saying something.
he lets you know.
He does. What happened with your divorce?
So we had a very public marriage, and because when we were in Salt Lake City, a little background on my story is I was a door-to-door salesman for 11 years. I sold alarm systems, and
Were
I
you
did
any
that.
good?
I was really good. I did it for 11 years, and I started this company with this guy, and we just grew it exponentially. And I mean,
You
do
remember?
if you can
You
do.
remember your pitch? Close
Yeah,
me, dude.
yeah, I remember my pitch.
Close me. Let's go.
Okay, you all right? We're
Knock knock.
rushing the nonstop. Hey, dude, is that your truck?
It is.
Dude, how long have you had that truck? I mean, dude, it looks like you know what you're doing when it comes to your trucks.
Well, I hope so. I just paid it off, and yeah, I love that truck.
Damn, you
It's my
paid it off.
baby.
What did you do, boss? Look at you. I mean, you got the mustache going on. You got the scarf. You need to teach me some tips. Tell me about how you do life.
I just work really hard and try to give back to others.
Dude, you're the type of guy that I'm looking for. like 100%, because looks like you're responsible, looks like you know what you want and you go for it. So are you doing anything to protect what you have right now? I mean, I know having a truck like that, you have guns, you probably have a dog, and when you're here, you're not worried at all, are you?
Not one single bit.
So, okay, you got a minute right now? It's really hot. It is just like balls hot. I mean, I'll sit in your truck if you want. Can we turn on the air conditioning and sit in your truck? Or actually, no, let's just sit down right here. So when you're here, you're the man of the house. You're not worried about a thing. How long have you lived here for?
5 years.
5 years? Okay. You've probably heard of a few things happening, not specifically right here, but probably down the neighborhood. You've probably heard a few things in the past 5 years you've been here.
Yeah, it's been getting more active, I think. I've been hearing the sirens.
That's kind of just what happens. Everywhere you go, things aren't the same as they used to be. Have you done anything, besides buy more ammo and guns, maybe body armor to, protect your house? And especially when you're gone? No, not at all. Okay. That's exactly why I'm here. Somebody like you who's working really hard with what you got, something like this kind of it just passes. So you're the homeowner, right?
I am.
Okay, awesome. So what we're doing is we're actually doing systems right now where we're actually protecting the entire house. So when you're gone, everything's protected. You can even look things up on your phone when you're gone. Make sure your wife, if you got kids, check in on them. We have cameras. And we're doing a thing right now that if you are the homeowner, we're going to take care of all the equipment. You just pick up that monthly service just like your cell phone. And I know you've got a phone, right?
I do. How much is it?
Okay, perfect. Well, I just have to verify because a lot of people will waste my time. I'm not about wasting my time. I just have to verify that you're the homeowner real quick. What's your name?
Tyler.
Tyler. Last name, boom. And this is the address, right? Okay,
Oh, yeah.
boom. All right, awesome. 5 years. Yeah, dude. Yeah, we got to protect your guns. I mean, I know you love your truck, but your truck is with you wherever you go. Your most expensive guns sometimes aren't. Okay, boom. Let me just check this real quick. Hold on, let me put it in the system. Okay, perfect. It looks like you are the homeowner. So just in case something were to happen, who do you want them calling first? Your wife? If they
Please.
can't get a hold of you? Okay, boom. And if you and your wife are on vacation, who would you want them to call? Your dad? Okay, cool. And you can have a few others, but that two is the main requirement that I need right now. And okay, perfect. How many doors do you have in your house?
6.
6 doors? Six? Okay. And how many exterior doors?
4.
Okay, cool. We're going to cover all the doors. Actually, let me check to see the kind of the location to see if because a motion detector and windows kind of makes a difference for people. And if you got a hidden window, I want to make sure that's covered. So here, let's just step in and see. And then boom, get in, kind of do a quick walkthrough, get a hold of a technician, and
How
then
much
boom.
is it?
Okay, so we're going to all right. So we're inside, sitting down. All right, how much is it? All right. How much is your cell phone per month?
120.
Dude, this is like half of that. And you're going to protect your entire house. And you have homeowners insurance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So it's even going to come down a little bit more with that because insurance companies love when you have an alarm system in your house. Plus, I've been doing this a long time. So, Tyler, when you have a problem, you're actually going to give me a call. Okay, I've been putting a lot into this. So, this is my career. This just isn't a summertime job. I do this full time. So, if you have a problem, you're going to give me a call. And if you're taking your truck hunting, which I know you do some hunting, you're also going to give me a call, okay? That's funny, right? That's funny. Everybody probably asks you to go hunting in a truck like that, right?
At times, yeah.
All right, perfect.
So
So, yeah,
60 bucks?
yep. And it can go, I mean, if you wanted more cameras, that's kind of how we work it. If you want to pay for more cameras up front, we could actually bring that price down. Or if you're happy with where things are at, because I can give you two cameras, then it'll be about $60 a month. And I'm going to lock that in for you for a couple years. That way it's not going to change. If you want it locked in longer than that, I can do up to 60 months. It's kind of just your preference.
Okay. Can you come back tomorrow? I need to talk to my wife.
Dude, when did your wife get home? You're just like me. I can't do anything without my ball and chain reminding me that she's attached to me.
Yeah, she'll be home tonight.
Oh, cool. All right. Is she at work or is she out somewhere with the kids? Can you give her a call?
Yeah, I could probably give her a call. I'd rather
Okay.
discuss it tonight, though, over dinner.
Okay, but just double checking a few things here. So you're the one who protects the house, right? Like if
Yeah.
you hear a window break or something, are you going to send your wife to go check out the window first, or is it what you're doing?
I'm going to do that.
You're going to do that? Okay, perfect. So
Yeah.
yeah, so typically that's exactly what happens, and I've been doing this a long time. I've never met one woman who said, "Honey, how dare you protect me more than I should be protected?" So I've got my technician just right down the street. So we could actually get this installed within the next, hour. That way, when she does show up, you can be like, hey, honey, check out what I did for you. Check out what I did for the baby. I'm protecting you guys. And it's just going to make me feel better when I'm not here, making sure you have another line of defense. So,
Job, dude. No, you're good. Good job. It was a little
well,
rocky at first, but the objection was great.
listen, like I said, I haven't done that pitch in a long time. Okay.
That was good. It was rocky at first, but
Yeah,
the
yeah. And this,
the objection handling was good, man, because you knew I was gonna throw something at you, so that was good.
yeah, yeah. And, obviously every house is kind of different in the way, it's all about like seeing, like, my big thing was, getting relationship, a mutual relationship of hobbies and building off of that. So it's building trust, and it's building, like, if I met this guy at a bar or with my buddies bowling, would I get along with this guy? So sales wise, it's just developing that trust and that baseline. So for me, and obviously, like, when I don't want to make things awkward for you. So when I'm like, hey, what's your emergency contact? I immediately look down, and now I'm waiting for you. I am
Yes.
waiting for you to tell me the emergency contact. So then it's awkward on you, not me, because I'm like, oh, dude, I'm assuming the sale. Yeah, it's all just assuming the sale and pushing forward until, like, say, if you brought up things like 3 or 4 times of a concern, like, no, I have to tell my wife, then I know it's a real concern, because obviously with sales, everybody's going to have concerns. And for my experience, if they bring that up like 3 or 4 times, it's a real concern.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're just like, I'm still thinking about this.
Yeah. No, that was good.
So
Okay,
that sales
y-
backgrounds, there it is.
sales background for 12 years. You're not a rookie. That was really, really good. Continue, man. I'll try not to cut you off anymore.
Oh no, you can
I
come.
don't think either of us thought we were going to be doing some role playing on the pod today. I know I didn't.
No, no, I had no idea either. Yeah. So, my last year of summer sales, yeah, I mean, I do the summer sales thing, help run an office, and then I would come back, because I lived in Salt Lake City, but I would come back and periodically do sales. But my last year of sales was during the summertime, and I was in Houston, Texas. And I specifically remember starting Instagram. And my wife at the time, I was just sick of Facebook. I was like, this is stupid. Like, I don't want to hear how people's day was. Like, I'm just going to delete social media. And she was like, well, you should get an Instagram. And I was like, what's that? And I looked up Instagram, and she's like, well, it's just things you follow will just come into your feed, and you're not going to be bombarded with how people's days are. It's just following cool cars, guns, stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So I started Instagram, and then I started posting stuff of like off-roading, hunting, my guns, and then a few of my friends, because your friends are your biggest haters. They were like, dude, you like to brag. What are you doing? And I was like, oh, well, screw you guys. I'm going to make my own Instagram for a place where a man can go and he can just be a man. And, it's kind of like his man cave in social media thing. And I was like, the man place, the man corner, the man target. And I was like, oh no, the man spot. Like, that's exactly what I'm going to pick. It's just going to be a place for hobbies, and I can express my political views, and I can just be an American traditional guy and just being frustrated with how things are going. I was like, this is the man spot. Boom. So I just started throwing hobbies on there, guns, my political views, the Second Amendment. And then I started throwing the occasional funny skit in there. And back then, it was kind of like Vine. Instagram would only let you have 7 seconds. So I would do so much in 7 seconds for a skit. People would be like, what did I just watch? They're like, that was hilarious. One example would be like me, picking up different guns through the day, or not through the day, in a moment, just like a Sig, Glock, Magnum. And then my wife is looking through her clothes. She's like, dress, jeans. And she's like, oh, I have nothing to wear. And I'd be like, I have nothing to protect myself with. So just funny gun content skits like that. And the followers just ripped in like crazy. And I remember I treated Instagram like a part-time job. Like during summer sales, when I wasn't selling and we were in the car driving home, I would just be working on social media, just building it as much as I could. So I literally treated it like a part-time job. And then I got a few deals where people would pay me like $500 a month for apparel, Black Rifle Coffee. They're like, hey, we want you to be a content writer with us. We want you to do skits. We like what you're doing. So, I'd pick up these different marketing deals with people. And before you know it, I was making like $3,000 a month and doing summer sales. And I was like, this is pretty good. And I was like, and I remember being out there, and our baby was probably 18 months old. And I remember just being like, hey, if I do this social media thing full time, I think I can make it. I think I can do this. And I was like, but I can't do this without your support. Like, I can't fight starting something new and fight you at the same time. I need your support if we're going to do this. And she's like, we'll go back to Utah. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay, I'll give you my support. So boom, quit my job, which was a big deal because working there for 11 years, we had like residuals. So instead of getting paid a huge commission for an alarm system, which, was anywhere between 700 to, $1,300 per sale that I would get. So if you're getting like 1, 2 of those a day, you're doing pretty good. But I had it. So when I sold one, I got residual income. So the equity of the account. So I had roughly, 1.8 million built up in equity with this company. And the owner kind of bait and switch. He's like, when we build this up, we're going to sell to ADT. We're going to sell to some of these other bigger alarm companies. We're going to do that. But he had been dragging me on and a lot of other people for years. And I didn't want to be a door-to-door salesman the rest of my life. Like, I knew I was like, I'm going to bank out on this and I'm going to leave. But when it came to a means where he was just like, no, this summer we're going to sell, this summer we're going to sell, one more year. He did that for over 4 years. And I was like, we're not going anywhere. So when I saw this opportunity, I had 60,000 followers and I was like, I'm going to do this full time. And yeah, I'm going to leave everything I built and we're going to start new. So boom, went to Utah, started new. My bills at the time were about $7,000 a month. So I was like, I got to make up $4,000 a month. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. So I lived off of credit cards until, I started getting more and more marketing deals and the followers, just kept on building and building from there. And, things were just hitting fire. I just kept just putting all my effort into that and it really started paying off. So with that, I was the man spot. My wife was the wife spot. So we had this duo and she's a firecracker. So in the skits, it was like typical, like, oh, she buys all the makeup. I hate that. I'm gonna flush it down the sink. I have the guns. She's like, you flush my makeup down the sink, I'm going to flush your guns down the sink. So she was a very strong female personality. So content was just gold. It was just like, I couldn't get away with anything. I couldn't buy guns without her knowing. She'd find a receipt. And then we also started having kids. Kids just started popping in because we had our second one like almost 2 years after our first, which wasn't bad, but it was our third, which was a big like holy shit, because Irish twins is you have 2 kids like within the same year. So my 2 kids are the same age for I think it's just over a month. So it's kind of like holy crap. So we had all these kids, all this content, and we were just public figures, So we just lived in the public. And, I don't think either one of us was really ready for that because social media was so new at the time. This is 2016, 17,
Yeah, it's a
18.
way different game right now.
Yeah, exactly. But back then, you'd get especially in the gun community is even smaller. And they say the gun community is more toxic than, the fitness community, for those people. Because I mean, at this point, y'all also have to realize we had never had more veterans in the history of America than at this time either, because we had been at war for almost 18 years at this point. So you got millions of veterans coming in, and obviously in the tactical world, you get a lot of different personality, a lot of ego, going on. And, obviously working with Black Rifle Coffee, they were capitalizing on all these veterans, conservatives, coming in. And I never served. So the reason I bring that up is because I just get so much hate, from all these military people being like, he's getting all this patriotic glory, whatever you want to
It's just
call it.
jealousy, Vaughn.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. So it was exactly jealousy, but there would also just be a lot of hate, with that as well. And I will say, primarily, the off the gift, me and my wife just did not communicate as we should have. So if you're a couple, you're growing together, if you start growing apart, you start turning into different people. And then you start resenting each other. And I'd say that's where we really started missing the mark when we weren't growing together. So, and that COVID happened right off the GIF. And then there was an earthquake in Salt Lake City. And my wife was just like, we should maybe move. And I was like, holy crap, move. Because I was just building a brand new deck on the house, wraparound deck, because I love being outside. I love the outdoors. And I was building this wraparound deck because we had a beautiful sunset off the hillside of Salt Lake City. And I was like, okay, if I have this deck and I can always watch the sunset, I can live in the city for maybe 5 or 10 more years. And then I got to get the hell out of here. But when she said, hey, let's move, I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting this for 5 or 10 years. And I was like, but yeah, maybe we should move. And at this point, also, like, people don't really understand the scope of my business, of social media. Like, I had 3 employees, I had a warehouse of props, I had like 7 different cars for I was a mini studio in essence what I had built in social media in such a short amount of time. I was putting everything into this. I had a full-time videographer for Instagram, I had a full-time videographer for YouTube, and then I had another guy who was just an extra who would be in the skits with me. And I actually had another 4th guy too who moved from Florida. So I had a lot going on at this time. So when this happened, I was just like, okay, moving, I will probably take 50 steps back, but I am going to take 1,000 forward after this point, because what man doesn't want to shoot guns off of his porch and piss off of his porch and not have to worry about his neighbors? So that was my goal, getting to a place where I could take my content to the next level and actually bring my happiness to the next level too, and raise the kids right. Because that was my biggest thing, is I want to raise them right. I want to raise them the way I wanted to be raised, in the forest, exploring, being away from everything. That was just my all out goal. So when my wife said, yeah, we should move, I was like, this is her idea, not my idea. Because after the earthquake, living up on the hill, she was like, I'm getting a lot of vertigo. And she was like, maybe we should move like within the next year. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. But then the next day there was a moving box on the table and I was like, what's this? And she's like, oh, it's going to take us a while to move, so we might as well get a good go on it. And she knows I'm a hoarder, so she's like, this is going to take a lot. And but she knows once I get my mind into something, like it's done. So we were packed up and had the house for sale in 3 months, had it sold within 6. And I wanted to move to Idaho, but Sun Valley, Idaho, the saying is the billionaires kicked out the millionaires, so that wasn't an option. And I believe Sun Valley, Idaho was the number one desired place, excuse me. It was the number one place that was desired in the country for people to go to. And my wife was like, well, maybe we should move to Montana. And, being born and raised in Idaho, I was like, Montanians think that's the real place to be. I was just like, so I had a chip on my shoulder about Montana, but her stipulation was she needed to be close to an airport, a Target, and a hospital. And we couldn't really find, like, McCall, Idaho, looked up there, not close to an airport, not close to a Target. And then I was like, oh, Salmon, Idaho is awesome. Same thing, not close to anything. So then she actually sold alarm systems in Montana, like back in 2011, I think it was. So she was like, Montana's cool, I think you would like it. So we came up to Montana and I was just like, okay, this is actually really cool. And being close to Whitefish, Kalispell, close to the airport, close to Target, close to the hospital, checked all the boxes. I could find land, shoot off the porch, and I wouldn't see anybody. So, yep, we moved here, and that was tough, because being a hoarder, it took me like six trips in a 26 foot U-Haul trucks that I just moved. I moved everything by myself because, in social media, I didn't want anybody to know that we're moving. I had to like maintain the status quo, just maintain the content, maintain everything. But when we moved up here, it just took a shift for, I guess, the worse, because the pressure was on me. Maybe I just put the pressure on myself to get a house. And during COVID, sales, it was just very, very, unprecedented time, as we all know. But I was just putting the pressure on myself to find us a house as soon as possible, being able to make sure I could shoot off the porch, and then just realizing this couldn't happen in the time frame in which we wanted it to. And and that at that point, we just kept on being driven further apart. She really got into her I guess, Arbonne sales, which is, an MLM where you build an entire team. And she just got with these girls, and, I called them the hens. They're always pecking, chuckling, and you either got a great pack of girls or you got a toxic set of girls, So those can also determine where a marriage goes. Because if you're always talking the negative about
Yeah.
somebody, but then you fix things, they're just like, wait, you fix things, but what about this, and this? So it's just all that negative energy that happens. And I'll admit it. All I wanted her to do was have friends, and if you have friends, everything will be fine. You want to go on all these trips, that'll be great. But again, I guess I didn't prioritize specifically the marriage because I just thought we were going through a tough time. I thought we were just at a low in the marriage. But when I thought we were just at a low in the marriage, that's when she had checked out. And by that time, it was already too late to be like, whoa, 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 it was just, yeah, it was just at that point where it was just like, no. And I had also gotten into drinking, and I was just I just started to be a very functional alcoholic where I was just like all this pressure because I still had to maintain content. I still had to take care of the kids, and, having 3 kids in diapers, like that was a lot. Like you're just like, holy crap. Because also in Salt Lake City, we also had her mom move into our mother-in-law apartment. So we also had help, with her too. So going from all that, where I didn't have any of my employees anymore to fulfill content, we didn't have, in essence, her mom to help nanny the kids. Like we just took on more than we could chew, so to speak. So got divorced. I bought an RV, got some land, moved into the middle of the woods, and yeah, that's kind of where the Montana adventure began.
Did the drinking just come due to probably just feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah. And I will also say that a lot of that started also in Salt Lake City too. And, a part of that also was, my wife, she just had all these kids. And with that, a man, at least me, I was like, I want affection. My language of love is physical touch, so it's just like, I need the physical touch. I need to feel like I'm welcome. But I just suppressed that with drinking, not communicating to her effectively about these things. And it just turned into a habit of that. And, there's just other things. Neither one of us got like physical with anybody else, but it's just, that the distance of, just being drunk, dealing with your problems at nighttime, you're busy throughout the whole day. I mean, and the part of me being a functional alcoholic is like, boom, I'd wake up first thing in the morning, get the kids ready, be with them. But, I was still just have that glazed look in your eye as you're just functioning.
Yeah, that's a tough position to be in, dude, because your entire thoughts are skewed.
Oh yeah, 100%. And, social media at the time, people just looked at people who had a following as they were just like, wow, they have it figured
Got
out.
it all together. Yeah.
They know everything. Wow. Because even though I'm not a weapons expert, because I had a lot of guns, people are like, oh, you're automatically a weapons expert. And I was just like, no, I just like collecting guns, man. I'm not the expert on this. I just like guns. And people couldn't stand that because they're like, well, you have this whole platform. Why don't you know everything there is to know? I was just like, no, I just like being funny, passionate about being a patriot and our Second Amendment rights and how our country is being ran. So I'd use and express my opinion in a great deal. But again, you know, my mental thought was I have to have it figured out, and I can't go to the audience and be like, hey, I'm a piece of shit, guys. I'm struggling right now. My marriage is struggling right now. I mean, social media wasn't at that cusp of people seeing the vulnerability in a person. And I did start right when we started moving from Salt Lake City. I started being vulnerable with people, just being like, "Hey guys, I drink too much." So I'd have my vulnerable moments, sharing things with my audience and trying to be real because that's the thing at that point. Social media hadn't really taken the real aspect yet. It was still just like there is no ugly to social media. It's only good.
Yeah, well, you remember what I told you on the phone the other day. I said, what's the point of having all these freaking followers if you're just the funny guy acting like you're somebody that you're not? Why not inspire somebody? Say something in regards to your life that you're struggling with because you got a 500,000 plus people that are looking at your shit, dude. Somebody's struggling. And if they can, if you can humanize yourself a little bit, I think you'd be surprised all the lives that you would impact. And you might not see it, but you are. I do all the time. and I have a small fraction of the people that follow my stuff that follow yours.
Yeah, and I guess it's still and there did come to a point where I was just like, yeah, and again, I'd have those real moments where I'd share, but there was just so much stuff that would happen. I'm just like, I can't keep on sharing all this negative shit that's happening in my life. Like, at what point, again, for me, is it's just like, at what point do I just be like, hey, this happened, don't feel so bad? But then they're just like, what do you mean this keeps on, like, like things just, it was just a series of events that kept on happening. So then I was also like, I don't want to be the boo hoo, woe is me, but then it's also the mental mindset. So that's kind of just at the point where I'm working on right now, is I'm extremely vulnerable. So much has happened, and I still have those bender moments where, just like talking to you, I just had a bender moment on Tuesday where it's just like, freak. And, before that, I didn't have a bender moment for a week, but it's still, every once in a while when that pressure builds up, I just choose the unhealthy path in how I've dealt with it.
Why? Is it just a state of comfortability? You know that that's a safe space for you, or what?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I say, I got this witch doctor who did my blood work and did everything. And he's the one who told me that my body had become allergic to 80% of foods. And he's like, your body is comfortable being in a chaotic space. And that took a minute for me to wrap my head around, just being like, I am comfortable in chaos.
Taking me a minute to wrap my head around that. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I think when I do have those moments as well, it's like, whoa, things might be getting better. Things, your body is actually feeling better. This isn't normal. You know, you're what's normal is you feeling like shit. That's your new normal. Which, and now thinking about it, I'm just like, man, yeah, so it's not only physical, but it's also like mental. Like, it's okay for things to get better, and it's okay not to be in chaos. So I really think I'm still getting to that mental point and physical point of realizing what is healthy, and what's healthy is actually normal, not being in chaos.
Have you tried to quit drinking?
I have.
Like, give it an honest frickin' go. Like, I'm going to
Yeah,
meetings
yeah.
or cold
I,
turkey.
I, yeah, I did give it an honest go. Um, it was my 40th birthday. I was giving it an honest go, and a good thing I did, because one of my best friends actually killed himself during my like cold turkey. I think I had made it 3 months, and then he killed himself. And a good thing, because I mean, if I was drinking at that point, it would have been even much more darker for me. But then 2 months after that, I think I made it 5 months.
Yeah, that 3 month mark is tricky. I call that the danger zone in really anything. You know, I quit dipping I don't know how many years ago, but it's like at 3 months, I haven't had a dip, but darn, going to the gas station right now and grabbing a can of Copenhagen sounds pretty freaking good right now. You know, same thing with drinking. I haven't had a beer in 3 months, but man, I could go into that bar right now and have a burger and smash like 6 beers. So you're not completely over it.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
don't know what the research is behind it. I kind of really don't believe, it takes 4, 5, 6 months to really implement this habit. I don't know what the science is behind it, but it ain't 3 months. I'll tell
Hmm.
you that. 3 months is the danger zone where it's like, hey, you've made a little bit of progress, but you have a lot more work to go because you can easily fall off the wagon.
Yeah.
And I see that in my line of work a lot. You know, if I can get a guy through 3, 4, 5 months, they got a chance to live this life the rest of their life. But there's a fair share of people that fall off at that 3, 4 month marker, just simply due to the fact that I think they get comfortable. Hey man, I'm doing it. Well, you haven't really done anything yet. This is what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you
Absolutely.
not think you're worthy of stability in non chaos?
Oh, 100%, man. Yeah.
Why?
And this this goes back to childhood, childhood traumas. Group of very, very religious. And I have 5 siblings. And we were just raised going to church every Sunday. But in the type of culture, religion that we were in, you never really felt like you reached the goal of worthiness. And obviously, religious studies is what I really thrived in. Part of control in religion these days is using guilt to control the masses, control the people, and it's to get them to keep on coming back as well. And it's just mind manipulation a lot of times. And how I grew up was just like, oh crap, like in order to feel like I'm progressing, I have to feel like I need to continuously be repenting. And that was just also my mindset. And, I don't think everybody has that mindset, but, specifically like me having to deal with the authority figures in my life with religion and stuff like that, it was just like, oh man. I mean, I'll give you an example. So I grew up Mormon and I was getting ready to go on my Mormon mission. Had a girlfriend at the time. And dude, I was a straight arrow in high school. I didn't have one drop of alcohol until I was 22, 23 years old. I didn't get my first hand job until I was 22, 23 years old. Like this year of 22, 23 years old, everything happened. I watched porn for the first time. I had my first hand job, my first blow job. I had sex for the first time and my first taste of alcohol. Like that was it. Like boom.
Kind of
Like
a
I was
late bloomer for sure.
yeah, dude, I was a
Yeah.
straight freaking arrow. But I do remember when I was getting ready to go on my mission, um, I had a girlfriend and we would just make out. But I remember I was getting ready to say goodbye to her to go on my Mormon mission. And we were making out and I ripped her shirt off for the first time. And we had been together, I don't know, maybe like just over 6 months. And I just ripped her shirt off for the first time. And then all of a sudden we break down in tears. We're like, what are we doing? Oh no, this is so bad. So I remember going to my bishop and being like, hey, dude, I felt my girlfriend's tits and took her shirt off, but we didn't do anything. We realized it was wrong, put her shirt back on, and, sorry. And he was like, oh, yeah, Vaughn, you can't go on your Mormon mission. You have to repent. And I was just like, how long? And he was like, this is really serious, Vaughn. Like, you're going to have to wait maybe a year. And then he was like, oh, let me talk to the stake president, which is, chain of authority. Stake president's in charge of all these different wards. And he was just like, oh, yeah, Vaughn, we're going to cut your break. Well, 6 months. You repent for 6 months. You don't do anything wrong. You can go on your mission in 6 months. And dude, at this point, it was just like, what? like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm trying to do the right thing, trying to go out, convert, teach people about Christ, bring them to repentance and baptism. And it's just like, damn. And even my dad who, is top notch, he was a bishop in his day too. He was just like, they're what, 6 months? Like, that is unheard of. Like,
At
to
that
make
point, you
you
should
wait
have just
that
went
much.
for the whole thing with your old lady, dude. Like,
No crap, dude. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, I could have had sex. But going back, it was just that impacted me a lot of just being like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough because of this. So it just put me into this continuous mental frame, the stigma of like, I always have to be, in order to be progressing, I have to be continuously using the process of repentance to feel like I'm progressing, so to ultimately feel like I'm worthy. Yeah, that feeling is just, that's why I said it. Yeah, that comes from a childhood trauma, most likely, of not feeling like I'm ever worthy of having normalcy or anything along those lines. So it's just been, I just tell your viewers, I am a continuous just work in progress. I don't have it figured out. I am figuring it out. And that's why, meeting with you, I know it's an answer. It's an answer, from God, because even my girlfriend, she's a very spiritual, holistic girl. She's very naturally, she's always in nature, always connecting with nature. She does things with the moon and stuff. She's not, I call her a Christian witch is what she is. It's like Christianity with nature is kind of what it is. But she was like, maybe you should get by the fire and connect with nature and see what it is that you should do. Because Tuesday I woke up, drunk. I avoided your call. I think it was Sunday or Monday. I avoided your call, And I remember I had this leaf that I went on this crazy like 17-mile hike up in the mountains. I think it was close to a year ago. And I had this leaf that I found up there, and it was pretty snowy on top of this cliff. And I found this really cool leaf and put it in my pocket, my satchel, with my binoculars. And I recently found it like 2 weeks ago. And she was like, "You should, sacrifice that to the fire and, look for an answer." And so I got drunk on Tuesday, woke up that next morning, and I immediately went on a 2-mile walk, came back, started a fire, came inside, and she was like, "Maybe you should do your thing with the leaf." And I was like, "Yeah, because I need a change." And I went outside and I started the leaf on fire and just had like this moment of just watching it just like burn and, come in. And then I came inside and I was just sitting there, and then you called, and I was just like, "Oh, oh, what's happening?" So I was like, I kind of knew that was the answer. I went out looking for an answer. Take it symbolic as you want. People may say, "No, that's coincidence," whatever. It wasn't coincidence for me. Going on this, because getting the leaf and bringing it back. There's an old story about this boy in Africa from this village, and he had a school teacher, and he wanted to get her something for her birthday, and he didn't have any money to get her. So he walked, 3 miles, or not 3 miles, 3 days. He walked 3 days to a beach, and he picked up a handful of sand, and he walked the 3 days back, and he put this handful of sand on his teacher's desk. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, the sand you can only get from this place. I can't believe you got this for me. That is so far." And this little boy looked at his teacher and he's like, "Teacher, the gift is part of the journey." And so reflective about like the leaf, going all that way and having it, I could have used it as a bookmark. I could have, done something with it, but actually giving something beautiful like that and trying to find an answer to what I need in my life. That's kind of where I took the symbolism with that, and actually getting your phone call.
Out of curiosity, why did I know why you answered, but when we were talking, you said that you've kind of been approached here and there by maybe something similar as to what it is that I do. Why not go with them and choose and instead choose to, in a sense, go with us and what we do here?
So there were two other people in the past. When I first moved to Montana, a group approached me, but I sat in and listened to the energy and listened to how things were going, and it seemed like it was more
For
of
the
a.
record, really quickly, I had no idea who you were. No idea.
Yeah, 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 likewise. The first video I saw of you was like, "Hey guys, we're going to Salt Lake City and we're gonna have a closed like workout sesh." And I was just like, "Looks like my kind of guy." Kind of the scarf, jewelry. He's got a wicked mustache. And, then I started scrolling through your stuff because I hadn't seen you either. And then, seeing some of our similar friends, I was just like, "Oh, okay." So he's not clout, but people vouch for him if they're watching his stuff. So then that's why I was like, it's a different approach from what I saw. It wasn't like a bros group. It was like, these are like serious guys who really want to make an impact on their life and not just say they're a part of something.
You want to turn your life around?
Yeah, I really do. I know I can do it. And fact of the matter is, like, I want it like more than I want you know cruising of what I'm doing right now.
Why now?
Because if not now, when? I always told myself, when I was living in the RV, I was always telling myself, I will get a girlfriend and get dating again when I get my house finished, because then I'll actually be worthy to show that I have something to offer. And then meeting my girlfriend in the RV and how it happened, I was like, crap, I wasn't looking for this. And she wasn't looking for a relationship either. It kind of just happened. And it was just like, okay, that was meant to happen. My kids are meant to see me with companionship and see me be a better father. And I think it's the same thing right now. Like, if I had my way, yeah, I would wait till my house was finished. I would wait till, I checked off all these boxes and then be like, okay, now I'm ready for this group and to turn my life around. It doesn't work like that from what I found.
Would you say it's pretty chaotic over there? Your life in general?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I love that. I love when guys take the next step when life is going crazy.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you can make progress when life is going crazy, well, when life slows down a little bit and you start to get into more of a concrete routine and things start going your way, it's easier. It's way easy because you've been doing it when crap's been going crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And when it slows down, you're like, man, I really got this now. I love that.
Because even 2 days ago, I posted me and my lady putting some boards up because I'm, continuously building a house. And my electrician was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm putting a form of transfer in, quit." And I'm like, you quit because I'm putting boards up? You've been working on the house for all close to a year and now you say you're done? Like, so it's just, stuff like that where I'm just like, oh man, oh, okay, well, that's fine. Just move forward. That's just been my motto. Just keep on moving forward. Like no matter what, bumps in the road, just move forward.
How have you been feeling over the past few days? We talked Tuesday, today's Friday.
Feel good. Obviously like the group text message, it's just good because it's, always popping off, every time you look down a couple hours, you're like, oh, more people have messaged. So it's just always good to know that there is just a group of guys who all have the same mindset, who are all going through their own things in life. And it's just a daily reminder of like, hey, everybody is focused on being better. And if there's new people to the group, people are always just like, yeah, dude, welcome, and, guys showing their progress working out. It's different because I have put myself in such a hermit. I mean, it's hard to say like, oh yeah, I'm a social media influencer. I live my life in the public, but it's like I look at my phone, I post, and then I just chuck the phone, and I'm like, get away from that. Like when people try to call, check in, and stuff like that, I'm not that type of person who answers my phone, answer text. I might answer your text message 7 days later, something like that. When I'm just like, okay, do I have energy for this? But it's just getting back into the mindset that you don't have to be alone because I'm comfortable being alone, but it's good to know that I'm not alone in the struggles that everybody faces in their own different way in life.
Yes. And it's important to have those people around you, dude. And the message I've been trying to slam home on social media and with the guys here, it's not selfish to take care of yourself first. Because if you can't do right for Vaughn, dude, you're not going to be the best dad you can be. You're not going to be the best employee that you can be. You're not going to be the best spouse that you can be. If you got to take care of yourself, dude. Because if you do what you're supposed to do and what you tell yourself you're going to do, you're going to be able to be 100% authentically you. Your cup is going to be filled, and then you can take care of all life's responsibilities after that. And again, I'm just getting to know you, but I feel as if maybe you've been focusing on other people so much and there's no time for Vaughn ever. You just, I'll worry about it later. I'll worry about it later. And that stress builds up. And then you got nothing left for you, dude.
Yeah.
And then you find a bottle or whatever it might be because you're just drained. You got nothing. When it's like, dude, if you would just take 30, 40, 60 minutes 5 days a week to just check in on you, go on those walks, maybe get a freaking workout in outside, maybe sit down and pray, maybe have a time with your lady that you guys can just talk about whatever with no distractions. I think you'd be surprised.
Yeah. Like, obviously it's kind of funny when you build a life that everybody is just like, oh, I want that life, but you have it, but you're not utilizing it. Like that's how I kind of just picture it. I'm just like, dang, I've worked so hard to obtain this, but I'm still not like living the best I could and should.
Well, it's never too late.
Oh yeah.
That's why you're here, dude. You're 42.
Hmm.
Yeah, shoot, you got 30 plus years left, brother. It doesn't matter what's happened the previous 42 years. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday. What matters is today, because that's the only thing you can control. You can't control yesterday and you can't control tomorrow. It's right now. What are you going to do after this podcast? You know what I mean? It's the only thing you can control. That's how I look at it. People they look too far down the road. or they beat themselves up about the road they've traveled up to today. Well, that's not doing anything. All that's doing is spiking your cortisol, making you swim in your own thoughts, and causing huge issues for you. That's how I look at it, and I'm guilty of it just like the next guy. I regret things, and I look too far down the road. But I also have people in my life that kind of keep me on track. My dad sent me a message a couple weeks ago. He's like, don't look past February 1st. Don't. Handle this week, get your shit done. You're doing great. Okay, thanks. Because I was already looking in March and April. No, for what? All that does is just stress me the heck out. I don't know.
No, it's good. It's good to have, that outlook, on life too, and it's good to have those reminders. Because how long have you been doing this for?
Just over 3 years full time.
Nice. Yeah, it's gotta feel. I remember seeing your, one of your videos of you just seeing the impact and the changes that you make. Just it motivates you, to keep doing what you're doing and how it's right. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just try to take care of people, Vaughn. That's it. Like I told you on the phone, everything else comes to me after that. God's got us from there. Just keep being a good human. That's it. Doing my best. I am not perfect. Sometimes, like you, people think that you have all the answers. You got all these followers. You got the house that you're building, and you've had all these brand deals and X, Y, and Z. Well, maybe that's all not cracked up to what what it seems to be. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
like
Oh yeah, man.
like
Yeah.
this marriage and relationships and being a dad, all of this is constant work and constant stress on guys. You don't just get married and that's where it stops. No, that's basically where it starts,
Yeah.
right? You probably found this out in your first marriage. You said basically lack of communication was y'all's demise because you guys stopped working at it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that, and she knows that. You guys lost track of each other and you stopped working on it. And by the time you kind of came to your senses, too late.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So what's different about your new, and we're bouncing all over the place, brother, but what's different about your new relationship? Because you have a girlfriend, right? You guys have been together for a little while.
But yeah, it's hilarious because when I first saw her Instagram, I guess is how I met her. Slid right into the DMs.
That a babe, that a boy.
Yeah. But I saw her Instagram and I was like, she is way too tree hugger for me. Like she is like, cause she is living in her car and she's a nomad, just traveling the country, going on hikes, living a different life. She's from Florida.
Was she doing like YouTube vlog stuff or
Yeah,
okay?
YouTube vlogs. That's exactly what she's doing. She's a hell
Which is
of a
really popular right now, if you've
huge,
noticed.
huge.
Are
That thing
you
is
a
fine.
are you a
Fine.
YouTube guy? I know you've had your own
No,
stuff. Dude,
no,
I am on
it's
YouTube every night. Every
that's
night.
your thing.
That's my thing. That's my rabbit hole.
Wow. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm getting into that rabbit. Yeah, I haven't. Like I said, I had a YouTube, a full time YouTube guy. I have not watched one YouTube that they made. It's pretty crazy. So I've got a series of old YouTube videos. That probably posted on there like 5 years ago. I haven't watched one, and there's probably close to like 30 episodes on there.
What so you
So
still have a channel?
yeah, it's called Meet the Spots.
I'm gonna look this up real quick. Hang on. Meet the
Yeah,
spot?
Meet the Spots. So it's this is the chaotic life of a videographer following me around as I did, living as an influencer, going from gun store to gun store, making content, making videos, interactions
Well, yeah,
between me
dude,
and the wife, the
it's been a
kids.
while since you've never
Yeah,
watched any of these.
I've never watched it. I may have watched like maybe 30 minutes here, 20 minutes there. Because now my kids are getting older. They're YouTubers.
Yeah.
And they started watching these and they're like, Daddy, look at me. And I'm just like, holy crap. I've never seen this. Let me sit down and watch like 10 minutes with his. And so it's kind of funny. But yeah, Monica Maragos is my girlfriend. And so she's got that's the name of her YouTube, Monica Maragos.
Is she active on
And
that?
yes,
Okay.
yes, she's active on it. So she just was living in her Toyota Camry, sleeping in like the trunk back seat
I
area.
love stories like this, dude. I
Yeah,
love people that just freaking
yeah,
live in their
yeah,
cars and just go for it.
yeah. And she's just going for it. And there's this whole nomad community that will meet up here and there. And her stories are just like, wait, you what? And so she I saw her living this nomad life, total just tree hugger girl. And I was like, she might even block me because I'm just like
You
this
just slid in
gun.
because she was cute. Is that what it was?
Yeah, yeah, she was cute. And then the more I got to know her, I was like, holy cow, she is just living this life. Like she did this story that really got me hooked, where it just shows her on the curb and she's like, hey guys, I haven't eaten in 2 days. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills next week, but I'm not stuck behind an office chair. I'm not in front of a computer screen. I'm out in nature. I'm doing this. I don't know what's going to happen these days. Yeah. And she's like, I just peed on the side of the street and a car drove by. They probably saw my ass. And then you think about how many people have seen my ass. And she's like, and I don't care because I'm just living it. And I was just I just got drawn into her story. And I was like, I'm just here for the ride. Like, I am just going to watch and see how she's progressing, where she's traveling.
Were you talking
And
to her at that point, or were you just kind
no,
of a
no.
fan?
So yeah, so I was a fan
Okay.
for about a month, and then she did this questionnaire where somebody was like, "Where's your favorite place to go, and where are you going next?" And she's like, "The Northwest is my favorite," and she's like, "I'll probably end up in Idaho, Montana, or Washington." And then I was like, "That's my in." Boom. So I was
You
like, "Hey,
need a place to stay.
yeah." I was like, "If
We
you're ever
we
like,
have toilets. You don't have
yeah,
to worry.
I don't have toilets." So
Well, my
I couldn't
bad.
be that big. So I was literally like, if you're ever by Glacier National Park, I have a forest you can stay in and you'll be safe.
That's not creepy.
Not at all. Not at all. I was like, my forest is your forest. Just so cliche, so gay. And she wrote back and she's like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Like, yeah, thank you so much. Because I guess a big thing with these nomad car people is they're afraid of the knock. Wherever they park in the middle of the night, they might get the knock from the
Dude,
police,
that's hilarious.
state troopers.
That's hilarious. I've been watching. That's like kind of one of the things that I enjoy is the like there's this one guy who does like stealth camping. His name's Steve, I think. I love it. He just goes and finds random places to stay, and then next thing you know, I'm watching people living out of their vans and going camping like that. I like those videos. I don't know why, but the knock is a big thing, and I just found this out like a couple weeks ago. Some people freak out, and then other people are, like, oh, not again. It's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
creepy though.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. So she has all these like stickers on the back of her car. She totally looks like a hippie. She's got like the curtain rod behind, just like it's hilarious. I've had to drive her car a few times, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just Mr. Hippie Man right now. Where's my Patagonia? But it's funny. So she came out, and I'm just like, listen, I am just gonna, I am a man alone in the woods. If this goes well, maybe we'll smash. Maybe. You And anyways, we hit it like right off the cusp. And because me and my ex, we got a rule, like if we are dating somebody, like, and it's our girlfriend, that they don't meet the kids for, I think it's like 6 months.
It's a good rule.
Yeah. Yeah. But she just came as a girl, just camping in the woods. And I told my kids, I was like, hey, this is like Dora the Explorer. She's our hiker friend. She'll come and go. And that's just her. And dude, she like, she was just never left. Like she was just came on the property, and we hit it right off. And the difference between this and my last marriage, because that's the question you asked, I guess it was just like we had such a genuine just acceptance of ourselves, and we didn't care.
Understanding. Yeah.
We were just like under the stars. Like I call it the summer of love, the summer that we met, because it was like every night under the stars in the daytime, going to the lake, not a care in the world. It was just like hiking, wandering in the forest.
What year was this?
This was 2022, or the beginning of, no, I think it's the beginning of, was it the beginning of 2023? It's 3 years. Like this will be the third year, which is just crazy to think about. And yeah, so the difference is just communication, how she loves nature, how, she complete opposite of my wife. Because I always say like a big thing between us is like I paid for my investments in my wife, like two massive investments. And so my wife was all
I'm picking that
tits.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're picking
Yeah.
up on the tits. Yeah, I bought
Yeah.
her some massive, awesome tits. And
What
so we call that,
what that cost, by the way? 10 G's?
yeah, just over 10 G's.
Yeah, 5 a
Yeah.
tit, huh?
Yep, exactly.
God
So
bless you.
yeah, so I always tell her, I was like, take care of my investments,
Yeah.
you know. um, but with that said, like,
And you probably don't even get visitation rights to those
no,
no
no
more.
visitation rights. I didn't.
That's
My
life.
ROI on that was awful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so my ex is big into fashion, big into beauty, big into makeup. Like that's how she made her business. And yeah, Monica, my girlfriend, like complete opposite. Like no makeup. She shops at thrift stores. Like she's just like very minimalistic. Like I am hoarder. She is minimalistic to like she lives in her car for crying out loud. Like I have five containers out here, 40-foot containers of just stuff. So I guess it was just the simplicity, how she lives and how she finds the joy in life and how it's just like no, just nature.
Minimalistic.
Yeah, yeah. It's just having conversations in silence. Also, is what it is on hikes and stuff.
You said it was the summer of love. Does it still feel like that?
We had our rocky patch because she's a nomad. She gets the bug to travel about every 6 weeks, 2 months. So she'd be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go," and then she'd pack up all of her shit, which obviously wasn't a lot. And I'm like, "She's not coming back." And I was accepting of that. I was like, "I have to accept her as she is. I can't try to control her. If she goes on the road and she doesn't come back, she doesn't come back. Because I mean, I'm not going to try to change her. She has to want to be here." So we almost went through about a year of her leaving, coming back, leaving, and she wasn't sure if she was going to come back either. So we did run into the rocky patch of dealing with her nomadic life, me being here, building, dealing with all the chaos that I'm dealing with and if she was being here permanently. So I was standoffish, protecting my heart, being like, I can't love you and be attached to you and not knowing if you're going to be here and come back, you know? And then I would do stupid things, being like, no, I'm going to protect myself by not being in love with you by talking to like 5 other girls. Okay. Like I'm protecting myself and my peace over here. And I'm going to pretend I'm not as attached to you and love you as much as I know I do. So, and it came to that rocky road of her coming, going, and figuring out our relationship. And recently, her and I took a trip down to New Mexico and Arizona, and she showed me all these amazing hikes down there. And then I flew back here, got the kids, and she stayed down there having her time. And then she just parked her car down there at one of my followers' places and she flew back. So now we're just figuring out how I can join her in the nomad life and then come back and still be in one place, and she can still get fulfillment out of what she does.
If I asked her what kind of partner you were, what do you think she'd say?
I think she'd say I'm quite the character who's very, very caring and gives a lot.
Yeah, dude, I don't think you need any type of influence, booze, drugs, maybe just a little bit of coffee. You are very energetic. You're extremely outgoing. I can't imagine what happens when you drink freaking 2 glasses of whiskey. What does that turn
Oh,
into?
dude, like I mentioned to you a little bit, dude, like I sleepwalk, when I drink
Yeah,
a
let's
lot.
let's dive into that. Yeah, can we?
Oh, dude, it's been wild. Okay. So I used to race King of the Hammers, right? I used to love
Have
off-road racing. Like King of the Hammers is
Oh,
going
okay,
on right
okay,
now.
okay, okay.
Mint 400s going like cool off-road races. So anyways, one time I was in Vegas and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to bed early tonight, not going out. And then the BF Goodrich boys are just
That
like,
never
yo, Vaughn.
happen. That never happens, bro.
Yeah.
You're in Vegas. Come on.
No, I know. So anyways, went down, had some drinks with the boys, 2 minutes in. I was like, oh, I'm racing tomorrow. Do. Anyways, I went to bed, made it to my room, and this has happened more than once, where I make it to my bed and I'm like, I made it. And then boom, next thing I know, a woman is kicking me with her foot, and she's like, sir, you're naked. And I wake up, I'm in a hallway of the hotel, and I'm like, ah! I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't get into my room naked. So I have to walk down to the elevator, because they have a phone there. I call down the front desk, hi, I locked myself out of my room.
Can I get a
Uh,
robe?
can I get a robe? I'm naked. And they were like, oh, yeah. So they would come up and they're like, you got to prove who you are. And I was like, I'm naked. How am I going to prove who I am? Like, come on. So, and somebody else got me the room. So we're trying to call them so they can verify that I can get into the room. And I'm like, listen, I promise nobody's in there. So that security's knocking. They get in. I go right for my wallet, which is right next to my gun. And I show them and they're like, that's your gun? And I was like, yeah. They're like, you need to come with us. I'm like, fuck. Go into the elevator, go down like 6 feet below normal, like the ground of Vegas. And I'm like, this is scary down here. And they're like, yeah, you got to talk to our supervisor general. You can't have guns in here after the Vegas shooting. So I have to sign all this crap. Got to show that, yes, I have a gun. And then they lock it away and they're like, okay, now we can walk you back to your room. So quite the ordeal of just drinking of what should have just, so that was crazy. And then this has happened twice.
You really quickly, you strike me as a guy that would like to explore the tunnels underneath Vegas.
Oh, 100%, man. Like I saw that and I was like, this is wild.
Yeah.
Like they don't upkeep anything down there. So you literally go.
I watched a documentary on it.
Yeah, you're shooting down there and you're literally like, we are back in the 1950s.
Right and if it rains, you ain't probably going to make it out.
No.
Seriously, dude, if it rains good, it's like every man for themselves.
Yeah, when they flushes through those the flood system.
Yep. Yep. Keep going. This is getting good now.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. So I remember. So I went to this NRA show in Tennessee, and same thing with the boys. They were like, "Okay, let's have some drinks." Bartender's gone, so I jump right over the bar, and I'm like, "Oh, they're not here. I'll be your bartender." So I'm just getting drinks to everybody, having a hoot of a time. And I guess that's also a problem of being the man spot is all these guys are like, I gotta have a beer with the man spot. I've gotta buy you a beer. Gotta get you a cigar. So I was also living up to this stigma going out of being like, that's the guy I want a beer with. That's the dude. So it was also living up to this person that I'm typically not. I'm living up to somebody else's expectation, not my own, but I got to rise to the occasion. Here we go. Yeah, of course you're going to have a beer with me. Let's go. Let's ride. So that was also been a problem of being like, I don't want to disappoint these guys. So anyways, jump over the bar, give them beers to all the boys, jump back over. And now they've got a story. Oh yeah, my man's I jumped over the beers, giving beers to everybody. He was our bartender. Anyways, I go to bed, same thing. I'm like, I made it to my hotel room. Thank God. Anyways, I wake up, 4 a.m. and I'm like, whew, I made it to the hotel room. And I'm just like, notice where the fuck is my shit? Not my hotel room. And I'm just like, where are we? Who got me here? So I walk down to the front desk and I'm like, hi, I ended up 4 stories up and in another hotel room. How did I get there? I don't have a key to that room. What happened? And they're just like, ooh, yeah. And they're like embarrassed because they looked at the footage and this lady admitted, she's like, if you pull the handle and jerk it hard enough and push in, some hotel doors will open with enough force and getting into that. And I was like, that's how I got in. Like, I was like, listen, I sleepwalk. Okay. I'm naked. Again, I was naked.
I had to walk down again.
I had to walk down to the front desk in a towel and be like, hi, I woke up in a hotel room that's not mine. How did I get there? So it's just crazy what sleepwalking does, because who takes over in the mind when conscious you is asleep? Somebody takes over and they take off. And what part of a sleepwalking person is just like, oh, okay, we're taking the shift. Let's go on an adventure. Let's roll. And, being in Salt Lake City, my wife would wake me up in the bathtub on the front porch. And I was just like, I think maybe my body temperature is too hot from drinking. And I just go somewhere to try to get cold, try to cool down. I don't know. That's the only explanation I've come up to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it's also I'm naked. Other people have said, you sleepwalk because of trauma. A lot of people have said that. Like, I don't know. But it's very interesting because no recollection or anything. And recently, like 2 months ago, me and my girlfriend went up to Banff, and same thing, we were like, oh, we should go home early. And that was like, no, then, Christmas holidays or whatever, there's Canadians. Oh yeah, I follow you. Hey, let me get you a few drinks. And then boom, you're just like, crap, shit. So we make it back to the hotel. And I suddenly am getting all these calls on my phone. And I'm like, what? And it's my girlfriend. And she's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in the freaking hotel room. And then I look and I'm like, I'm not in our hotel room. Freaking happened again. Security comes and they were like, how did you get in here? And I'm like, I sleepwalk. And I was like, I don't know. So my best friend has been like, dude, how do you do this? And I was like, listen, that is not a conversation to ask me. That is a conversation to ask sleepwalking me. Because he evidently knows how to get into hotel rooms and he just goes in there and goes to sleep. Like, it's really scary because I'm like, I could get shot. I could get beat up. I could, like, some bad shit could happen. So if you see handcuffs in my room, it's for safety reasons, not for kinky reasons.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, but again, like, like I just had surgery, in November because I slept walked and a 40-pound artillery shell fell on my foot. And when I was sleepwalking, I didn't wake up in pain being like, oh my gosh, my foot. Sleepwalking me did his thing, went to sleep. And then when I woke up, I was like, oh, what happened? I have this big bruise on my foot. And I was like, I don't know what happened. And then I finally had to realize, oh, artillery shell, blood. Oh, okay. I slept walked and I got hurt. And again, sleepwalking you doesn't say, hey, this is what happened when I was on shift. We hurt ourselves. So yeah, I guess that reason alone should be a reason I shouldn't drink. But again, it's not like I'm planning on sleepwalking when I grab a handle.
What's your plan next weekend?
I'm working out with you guys on Saturday.
Yeah, but that's at 7 in the morning for 2 to 3 hours. When are you getting to Salt Lake?
I'll get there Wednesday.
Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday
Wednesday.
night,
Yeah.
Saturday night, probably Sunday night. A lot of temptation there.
Yeah. Yeah,
What
big time.
have you
Good
thought
news
about
is,
that?
yeah, and my girlfriend's coming with me, and
That
she's
don't
just
mean nothing.
oh, it does with her because
Does
she's
it?
she's not a drinker. She's been the best influence ever. We went to SHOT Show, which is the biggest gun show in the world, and she was like, "Hey, why don't instead of going out with everybody after the show, let's go on a hike in the Red Rocks, Vegas?" And I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And so she just goes on a hike, shows me all these red rocks right outside of Las Vegas, just most beautiful rock structures exploring ever. And it's just right outside of Vegas. So she is not one to be social. She was like social battery tapped out, and she's like, let's go. So she's actually been the best influence to get away from that type of atmosphere. So my plan is see where she's at after the show.
Yeah, I recommend staying with her. Cause it's tough, dude. Like I can tell you're not very good at saying no.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
let's have a beer. Hey, there he is. You're not any smaller on social media this coming weekend than you were. I mean, unless you're just losing followers left and right from talking about the Epstein files, but
I've lost a lot of
I'm
followers
sure
about
you
that
have.
because people can't let go of their political party.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. I was just curious, dude, because there's going to be temptations there. A lot. Everybody out there. There's a lot of degenerates that go to these shows. You know that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, Monica, right?
Yep. Hmm.
Okay. Well, hopefully Monica keeps you in check.
Yeah, that's my plan.
Yeah, it should be your plan because I can't have you rolling up naked on Saturday morning to my workout. There's Vaughn again.
Here he is, boys.
Hey, meet the new guy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Good.
Curious.
Yeah. How many guys do you have in your group showing up on Saturday?
We
I guess
got
our group.
our
Not
group, yes. 22, 23, and then we're going to bring some Joe Blows in as well.
oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a good time. We're gonna have to get creative. It's a nice sized gym, but not. We're gonna have to get creative. We utilize all our space. So
Yeah. So what's your plan with the group? How big do you want to get, or do you want to keep it limited? Like, what's your game plan?
good question. I'm pretty selective with people that I bring in nowadays, just because I can be. I'm looking for a certain person. Does that make sense?
100%.
Where like just because your money's green doesn't guarantee you a spot here. Used to. I told you I'd take anybody with a heartbeat that wanted to work with us here,
Hmm.
but I had bills to pay. So now I'm really trying to create something special, and you joined at the perfect time because Right now, it is as good as it's ever been. The collection of people that are here are top tier. How do I know that? Because I vetted every single one of them, and I'm pretty good at vetting people. I used to get paid for a living to do that. So the people here with the goals they have and the energy that they bring and the transparency and the vulnerability is exactly what I'm trying to build. So I don't to answer your question, I'm not sure. I don't really have a number on it. I don't know how many guys are here. I don't care. I just need to keep impacting lives.
Hmm. Yeah.
And right now you're the freshest meat pretty much. So that's a good thing because we're going to impact your life as long as you work
Hmm.
and as long as you want to get better. That's why I'm asking you about Salt Lake. Are you just going to go on a freaking bender? Or are you going to be able to say no and genuinely put forth effort? Dude, you're going to fall off, but like this weekend is, I think you can learn a lot about yourself this weekend.
Hmm. Yeah,
You
for sure.
can. Are you going to be able to stay sober throughout the weekend? Are you going to be able to just maybe have 2 beers instead of 12? Only you know. You're an adult. You're going to make your own decisions. You know, what I'll tell
Hmm.
you is we're not drinking beers after the workout. You know, a lot of guys here don't drink. Some guys do. Some guys struggle with it. Apart from drinking and cutting that out of your life, what else are you trying to work on?
I've always struggled with finances, like always. So I guess it's a means of not being so spontaneous and just being like, oh, I'll get this now and I'll figure it out later. So it's also having that discipline, financial discipline. I think is another big thing that I need to really work on and cater.
Yeah. You have credit cards?
But yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
I'd probably try to work on paying those off and then cut them up and throw them in the trash. Credit cards are a dangerous game, man. Such a dangerous game because it doesn't even seem like real money.
hmm
You're like, ooh, I can just swipe this and get it?
oh yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
again, it's just like, oh, I'll figure it out later. Small payments, yeah, I'll just figure it out later.
Okay. What else do you struggle with? Do you watch porn?
On the occasion, it's not something I like really need, but it's just something that's there for another immediate release.
That's a dangerous one too.
Yeah, for sure.
What's cool about all of these things, Vaughn, and I'm not going to preach to you on this thing, but this is how I like view life. Drinking, lack of financial discipline, porn, all of these things require zero action. Like just don't do that. Just don't. Not even asking you to do anything. Just don't grab a handle. Just don't go to that website. Just don't buy that. Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a mind battle, dude.
Hmm.
Life, that's life. Just don't. Fight those urges because when you cave, when you woke up Wednesday morning, you felt like shit about yourself, did you not?
Oh yeah, one hundred
For
percent.
what, 3 or 4 hours of just pounding booze?
Hmm. Yeah,
Nice.
not even,
Yeah.
not even. It was maybe 30 minutes before it was just
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah. And if you would have just won that battle over the course of that night, you would have woke up Wednesday feeling accomplished. And that is how I like to look at shit. Just don't do that. Just don't eat that. Just don't say that. It's hard, but I try to dumb shit down as easy and as simplistic as possible. And when you start looking at things that way, I think you'll realize it's like, I don't even really have to do anything. I just got to win the battle in my mind. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. That's it. It's not like you have to go run 27 miles. There's no action required. Just don't take any action. And people are probably listening to this. Oh, for sounds easier said than done. Well, 100% it's easier said than done. But just don't do it.
Yeah.
You probably think I'm crazy, but I try to dumb stuff down, dude. Life is hard.
No, and that's the way it needs to be done. It just needs to be blunt, and it needs to be just like dumbed down, just like boom, as simple as hard as it is. This is what it is.
Do you have any regrets?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Like what?
I guess, looking back, I guess a big regret is like not having the strength. Because I mean, me and my wife had struggles, before we were married. Obviously, both of us probably thought getting married was the answer and everything would be fine, just like so many people do. But it would be also just like doing more work during the engagement process, because, as you know, courting your wife, it's a courtship, and being engaged is a part of the courtship. When you're engaged, it's a segment of time where it's reserved to see, like, okay, this is the next level of our relationship. How do we do with this next level of courting each other during this time? Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I wish during that courtship
Is that a
of
term for like vetting? Or I've never
yeah,
heard
yeah,
courting.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It is. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Dating, courting.
Got
It's
it.
just a more proper term. I'm an old soul, so I like all these older things.
You are an old soul. If I'd have known you'd be wearing rings, I'd have thrown some of mine on today, and we could have been super gay together.
Yeah, I love jewelry, bro. I
I do
love
too.
yeah, Navajo. I'm a sucker for Navajo jewelry, bro. Gets me every time.
Me too.
Um, yeah, yeah, and it just gets it's just part of that. I wish I just had more fortitude and not dominion. That's not the word, but just have wise wisdom of being like, there's no rush into this, and let's just take it easy, because her and I had gotten into a fight, and then I was like, okay, the engagement's off, blah blah blah. Just like anybody else, you make up. And, we made up and we got pregnant when we made up. And then I took that as the answer of like, okay, this is the answer. We got to get married. And I just wish I had the forethought of like, marriage doesn't fix problems.
Either does kids.
Yeah, neither does kids. And it's just slowing down to build the proper foundation to make sure you can make it through anything, to make sure you're both going to right for each other, to make sure you both won't change and turn into different people, that you want to grow together. So I do regret not doing that. But again, in the culture I grew up in, it's typical. You go on your Mormon mission, you come home, and when you come home, you're 21, 22, and the expectancy is you get married within the first year that you come home from your Mormon mission. And I was like 30 when I got married. So I was already like an old man, just a menace to society. That's the thing. They say anybody who's over 27 years old is a menace to society if you're single in the Mormon culture. Like that was said by one of the authority figures. And maybe some of them are. Maybe the stigma was I was just like, crap, I need to get married, or so there was also this rushed stigma for me too, also to be like, okay, this feels right and everything. But I was also figuring out who I was at that point too. I was figuring out my relationship with God. I was figuring out, okay, I don't need an organized religion to be closer to God. I don't need somebody to be the middleman between me and God. So I was also catering my own relationship at that time. And I just wish I knew myself better before I committed to marriage.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't strike me as like a TV guy late at night. Have you heard of Landman?
Yes. Oh,
Have you
yes.
seen it?
Yeah, I watched the first season, and I think I picked up one or two of the episodes of it.
There's this scene where dude's son, he's got some shit that's going on. He's got some problems, and he calls his dad, and he calls Tommy or whatever his name is. He's like, "Hey, I need to see you. We need to talk." And his dad's like, "Can it wait till tonight?" He's like, "I mean, it could, but I'm still gonna have the same problem. It's just gonna be bigger." And he's like, "Okay, well, let's just talk now then." You know what I mean? Like your problems, they're not going anywhere. But the longer you let them fester and you don't attack them, they're just gonna get bigger.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, hey, we made up, we got pregnant, so now we have to get married. It's like, well, you still have the same problem.
Hmm.
You're just pushing it off, and eventually that's going to come to an head, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
the
yeah.
reason why people are so stressed out, dude. Because they don't take any action. They don't fix the problem. That's where stress comes from. You got too much going on. You're not addressing the shit that you know you should be doing. They're not taking
Yeah.
care of stuff. Now they have
Yeah.
all this stress,
And they just push it back and think something else will fix the problem.
or try to substitute it.
Hmm.
Yep. Which is not the right way to go about it. I'm guilty of it. Sometimes my wife just needs a little bit of space when we get into an argument. I'm trying to solve it right now because of what I just said.
Hmm.
But by doing that, sometimes I make the issue worse because she just needs a little bit of time. So there's
Yeah.
pros and cons to both, but I like to address the stuff right from the get-go. I've also heard that dealing with issues in the morning are the best thing to do opposed to the night. Where if you can just call it a night and then discuss things in the morning, you're way more clear and level-headed opposed to the evening because you've had a day, right? You're just over the day. And now you're like, now I have to deal with this shit. It's like, just deal with it tomorrow where everybody's clear. So time, I think I'm kind of contradicting myself, but there's pros and cons to both. Depends on the problem, I think.
Yeah.
What else? You put a pretty lengthy intro. Definitely the when people join, just for the listener, when people join our group, I make them introduce themselves. Sometimes it's a sentence, sometimes it's a paragraph. Yours was a scroller. Like you physically had to. My thumb was sore after.
Yeah.
You've lived a life, and dude, this could be a Joe Rogan 5 hour episode. Neither of us have the time, but you've really, really been through some stuff. And please don't take it as by talking about this, oh poor me, woo woo. No, that's the point of this. But I mean, you really put your nuts on the table there to a bunch of strangers. Why did you choose to open up like that? I was not expecting that. I figured you'd, hey, I'm Vaughn, X, Y, and Z. See you guys in Salt Lake, kind of thing. That's usually how guys go. Why'd you choose to open up like that?
Because I own my shit, like 100%. I own my shit, and I really want this, and I know holding myself accountable is what I really want, and I think when I have others holding me accountable, it really will mentally help me get to a better place of holding myself more accountable because it's like they know all my shit. Like I'm not trying to hide anything. Like this is what it is. It doesn't change anything. I just let you guys read a quick, 5-minute journal entry of shit because I was even thinking of shit like even after I posted that I was like, "Oh crap, I didn't mention this and that." So
Should have
I didn't
added
even
this.
yeah, exactly. I mean, one that you would be interested in, like one thing that I had to deal with is like I wanted to take my boys on bear hunts. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna reserve. These guys were like, hey, dude, you should hit us up. We go bear hunting in Idaho and we have the dogs. And I was like, what a cool experience that would be for my boys. So I took both my boys on 2 bear hunts, 2 years in a row. I took one at a time and got a bear. We did the hounds, released the hounds, had that whole thing. It was really cool experience for my kids to have. And then like last year, I got hit up by the game warden, and they were like, "Hey, we're finding you for poaching 2 bears." And I was like, "What the fuck? I went on a guided hunt." Like, what do you mean? And this is all going on during everything else that I'm dealing with. And I had to go to court for that. And they were like, well, you got an Idaho tag. You're a Montana resident. And I was like, you guys sold me the tag. I was born and raised in Idaho. We still have land in Idaho. My family pays taxes in Idaho. My truck is registered in Idaho. I'm pretty sure that warrants a hunting tag that I'm okay to hunt in Idaho. And you stole me the tag. I gave you my Montana ID and you still sold me an Idaho tag. And the fish and game guy was like, nope. Nope. We're going to confiscate the bears, the hides, the skulls. State's going to fine you. Fish and Game are going to fine you, and you can't hunt, for the next 2-3 years because of this. And I was like, what about the hunting outfit that guided me to go hunting? No, we're not going to hit them with anything. And I'm just like, what? They knew I got an Idaho tag. They made sure I got an Idaho tag because it was like cheaper. And I was just like, what the fuck? So this is something else I had to deal with in the midst of all the chaos. And it's just like, I'm trying to do something right. And yeah, so it's just stuff like that just kept popping up.
What's your relationship with God?
I need to talk to him more, but I give him praise and thank him so much. Like it's about a 45-minute drive to town, and I've never gotten sick of that drive one time. And a lot of times I've just thanked God for the piece of property I have, where I'm at, my kids' health, Monica and me just getting to know myself better. I really love the dynamic that I have with God. Again, I could talk to him more like on my knees, but behind the wheel, like I talk to him a lot.
Do you feel like you're cursed in a way?
100%, dude. Like, that's why I'm just like, why did that happen? And then I go into the mindset and I'm like, okay, I got to get out of the victim mindset. I'm not a victim, but if you have the victim mindset, more shit is going to happen and go wrong. And even Monica is just like, this is like crazy. Like she's even just like puzzled. Like, I don't know why and how that keeps on happening to you. Like it's just bewildered. It's just like, and again, it's come to the conclusion, can I help other people? Is that why God is having me go through all these things? Because I can help other people. So also coming back to the intro that I gave, it's just one of those things like, I know you guys are all dealing with a lot. This is what I've had to deal with. If it's more than what I've had to deal with, help me. Like, give me a little like reassurance that like, dude, you're not alone, man. Like, I've gone through some similar shit too. Like, so maybe another reason I put that on the intro is because I want guys to feel like they can open up and talk to me, because I gave them what I'm going through, and maybe that would help some other guys open up to what they're going through. And if anything, I also thought this will do nothing but help people and what they're going through. And I am about helping other people. Of course, I need to help myself first, but I know I didn't go through all this shit for nothing. I apologize to your father that I just swore, but
I actually wasn't even recording audio on my side when I said that, so I don't even think that'll make the cut. So I'll just say it now. I don't think I've dropped one F-bomb this podcast after the first one that wasn't recorded. My dad listens to the podcast and he said that I need to clean it up a bit, so I'm doing my best.
well, he's still being a father, giving you
Yeah.
some guidance.
So, Vaughn, I don't know much, but one thing I know for absolute certain, that is if you continue drinking, because I know that's a huge struggle in your life, more bad shit is going to keep coming to you. I can guarantee it. I'd put every dollar that I own on it. If you can cut this habit, this terrible habit out of your life, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised how much more shit, positive shit, comes your way. I can guarantee it, dude.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. And I know that because it's happened to me. Like, I didn't drink like you used to drink, but I used to drink. Hell yeah. Used to drink. Not every weekend, but darn near most. I just randomly woke up and I was like, one weekend went by, I didn't drink, and then next thing you know, I'm 14, 15, I don't know how long it's been, just over a year. My life has drastically improved. And I've had people on here with kind of similar stories where they just cut it out and their life has drastically improved.
Yeah, I had a therapist for a while, a couple of years, where I talked to him, and he was just like, he's like, Vaughn, he's just like, how you view alcohol, since you were told no for so long in your life not to drink it, you view alcohol as like freedom. Like, when you drink that, that is your freedom. And he's like, that's what it represents to you. And it's also, I guess, getting that mindset of, I need to choose a new type of freedom of expression, and just, heal that part of my past,
And what I'll also tell you is your mindset. That's a huge piece of this. If you think that negative things are going to continue to come into your life and you're just waiting on the next bad, chaotic situation to come to you, just get comfortable because it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
What you
Yes.
speak and what you think, you attract.
Mm-hmm.
And Monica would be proud of that because I'm sure she says some nice voodoo shit like that as well.
All the time, man.
Yep.
All the time. What you say and what you what's the big term when you say something and then it comes to you? Um, gosh, yeah, it's that voodoo, not voodoo term, but it's just saying what is coming back. The word will come to me. I know everybody's just thinking it on their mouth right now. They're just like, just say it. But yeah, it's
I don't know what you're talking about, so don't worry. I'd have finished your sentence, but I'm not sure.
I was waiting for you to, man.
You're like, save me. I'm like, brother,
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. This is awkward
I
right
told you
now.
I don't know much.
It's all right. It's all right. But yeah, so it's just one of those things of just making sure that my mindset just you know stays focused on that, because for a while there I was just like, oh, what else could go wrong, what else could happen, it's just something else. But when my RV burnt down, I was like, Fuck. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
Mm-hmm. Was that the one that was full of ammunition?
Yeah, over 20,000 rounds of ammo just bursting, popping off. You know, it was like it literally sounded like a war zone. It was yeah, pretty crazy. And then I'm just like, I can save the electrical, and Monica's like, you'll fucking die. And you know, like she's never yelled at me before until when the RV was burning down to save my life. So
I feel as if they could make a documentary or some sort of movie about your life.
yeah, I mean they definitely could. Yeah, and it's just, you know, tip of the iceberg as well, you know. Just of things. If I had done things differently, where else your life, I mean, could be, because I know if I stayed in Salt Lake City, I would have made more money. I would have gotten a lot more followers. I would have been a lot more popular. But I'm not, you know, I'm not in this to be popular. I'm just in this to live a normal, just a normal life. But I'm not sure if that path is for me because I keep on getting that urge to, you know, save, you know, do my make a difference with our country and, you know, just how it's being ran, you know, just like you said with the Epstein files. So I'm just like, I don't think the quiet life is for me in this lifetime. And yeah, because I keep on feeling the urge and the call that I'm meant for a lot more.
I think you are, but you also live a certain way too, where you're remote.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think you can still have a big impact on people, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be around people. That's one thing that's positive about these phones is that you can reach a ton of people just via the phone instead of in person where, you know, you might get stuck with temptation. Hey, there's the man spot. Let's have a beer. And then you're waking up naked in somebody else's hotel room, you know?
Yep.
What's going on? And we're kind of slowly wrapping it up here. I'm curious, dude. I stay out of it. This is a complete left turn for where people think I'm trying to go. We kind of touched on it a few times. But can you help me out? Because again, I stay out of it because I don't have the bandwidth for it. What is going on with these Epstein files, and what should we know for somebody that is very novice to the situation at hand? Can you help me understand this a little bit more clearly from a very, again, novice green approach? I know what they are. I know that Trump promised to release them. They're not being released, but they're being released. There's some, you see photos now online and there's emails, and but the whole thing is not being released and stuff is getting redacted. Just spell this out as if I'm a third grader, please.
There is a government influence that has affected and compromised the United States government, the officials, leadership, Hollywood, entertainment. They have compromised all the important people that we all know, look up to, and run our country and the major companies. And every single one of them, in some aspect or another, are compromised because they went to this island where horrible and heinous things happen to children. And they're being protected. The president is not releasing them because he's protecting all these powerful people, and the FBI is protecting them. CIA is protecting them. They don't want this list to get out because they're all compromised in some way, and that's why we can't let this list go, because there are survivors and there are victims and witnesses to this. So if we let this go and we don't make it a big deal, then we are approving evil to continue doing what it's doing. So the Epstein list represents evil, and we need to fight and stop evil because this is children. And this isn't just something that happened. The Epstein list is something that is still happening. We just finally have a tangible list, proof, names that our government has finally admitted to. And they right now that we know about it. They know we know about it. We don't know the whole grand scheme of things, but we know we have actually something that the government has admitted, something that's very bad, but they're not doing anything about it. I know that's not dumbed down to
No, it's pretty
a,
dumbed down.
a great level, but that is the scope of what we're dealing with here. Evil versus good versus evil. Not no political ties. It's just
Who,
good versus evil.
who has the power to release the files entirely?
Kash Patel, uh, President Trump, and the only reason that we got as far as we did is because it took a long time to get them voted to release the files. So there were some politicians who did the right thing in voting to make them a big deal enough to be like, yeah, we're going to release these files no matter what they are. But the more time that goes by, the more they're erasing, deleting, covering up. They're trying to give the people what we're demanding, but they're trying to do it in a way that makes sure that nobody is um, held responsible for their actions. And
Those, go
it's
ahead.
just about, yeah, and it's what this really is it's about pedophiles, because it is confirmed that children were there, children were hurt, children were sacrificed. There was cannibalism, sacrifices, rituals, just the evil
There was
stuff that you.
cannibalism.
Mhm. Yeah, there's stuff that you don't want to admit, and you just want to push it off like that is not what happened. But it's coming to terms of real evil. Like anybody who goes through these files has to come to terms of evil, and that it's real, and that these people are responsible for are still alive and going about as if nothing's wrong, and they won't take any accountability.
Who are these people that are responsible?
Well, the biggest thing that we can get on the list is like Trump was mentioned over 30,000 times. So it's also the big problem is people are coming to terms of like the guy I voted for wouldn't do that. I wouldn't vote for a guy that did that. And it comes to terms of like me, I'm just like, listen, I voted for Trump because he said he would release the Epstein files. Then he said they were a hoax and people need to get over it. And it was just, in a way, just gaslighting, like, wait, what do you mean? And the fact that he's just like, no, we need to get over it. It comes to terms of like, yeah, he probably got way involved in some bad shit way back in the day, which he did an Oprah interview where Oprah was like, would you ever run for presidency, Trump? And he's like, no, I don't think I would, Oprah. But and you right there, like to me, it's just like he didn't want to run for presidency because he knew all the shit he was currently doing or was involved in back then. And now it's just caught up to him. And so for me, it's people have to get out of the mindset of, Democrat, Republican, voting for your team, wanting your team to win, because we are all in such a tribal mindset of rooting for your team, and you don't care how they win. You just know they're winning, and you're going to keep on cheering for your team. People got to get out of that mindset, because Trump has the ability to make it right, but he's not. And there's also a recording of him saying, "If I go down, everyone will go down with
Is
me."
that real?
Yeah, that was real. And I know it.
Cause a war. Do whatever the fuck you need to do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
That recording.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I'm pretty
real.
sure. Yeah. And I know it's hard to tell what is and isn't real right now with AI because it's getting so scary, so advanced, and everything like that. But they did ask him, they're like, in an interview, they did ask him about that rant
Said
specifically.
he
And
was yelling at people,
yeah,
right?
yeah, he was like, oh, I was just upset. People are doing stupid things. Like it was just like, just brushing it off. And that I think is his problem is he just tries to brush it off, and he thinks his MAGA empire will just do exactly what he says no matter what. And that's the problem is our politics right now are they're just so one-sided, this or the other. They're not looking at this from a constitutional standpoint of like, it doesn't matter your political beliefs. If you believe in the Constitution, like let both parties burn.
Why are you fighting this fight?
Uh it's the future of our kids. Like nothing will change if we don't let it change.
You know that they're never going to release these, right?
No, they won't. They won't let it get to that point. And it's just got to and I actually spoke to a constitutional lawyer um over the weekend, and I was like, all right, per constitution the people can start a new government if this one isn't working, like it's our right to do that. And as lawyers do, he hums and haws like, yeah, but the Bill of Rights was written this way and we have the rights to do this and that. And I was just like, okay, well, what's to stop us from making a constitutional, we the people group, kind of like the CIA and the FBI, where we give ourselves the sovereign right to audit the FBI, the CIA, the government officials. What's wrong with the people just coming up with our own sovereign group to do this? So it's coming down to what we, the people, can do immediately and how we can actually enforce that. And it's got to come to some means of doing that. I mean, he was just like, well, you got to vote the right political people in and you got to do this and that. And I was just like, that system isn't working. So, I mean, it came to a means where he's just like, well, it has to start with a state official, state government allowing a group to do exactly what you're doing and let it grow from there, and I'm just like, man, there's got to be something more, and obviously to do that, you would have to roll up with a squad of like 250 armed guys. It's almost like Doge in a way, but it's an armed Doge where you just roll up and you're like, hey, we're auditing, but we have a shit ton of trucks because we're doing arrests right now. And we're going to audit everyone and see where everybody's at. I mean, ultimately, that's what has to happen. And that's the plan. And the government could be like, oh, no, we're fighting you guys. And it's just like, no, this is a political battle. It's we the people against you and how we're doing things and how we're governing ourselves. But then they would be like, oh, this is just like Cuba all over again. You guys are trying to take over our government, trying to do this. So it would just get nasty. But it's got to turn into a form of that. And the only real people that have that influence to do that is like a Joe Rogan or, somebody who's just like, here's the plan, guys, and this is what we're doing.
Yeah, I think actually this morning, and maybe they're still recording, I don't know, but Sean Ryan had some person on live, first time ever, that they were talking about the Epstein files. You know who that is, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, and good for Sean Ryan, like
He
being
really
so
is. He's
so like
doubling down about
yeah.
all this bullshit. He's not redacting any of his podcasts. People are coming for him left and right. Obviously, we know who he voted for. We know that he had, those guys on his podcast, and he doesn't give a shit about
Yeah.
none of that, which, again, kind of going back full circle here. If you have influence, why not try to make a difference?
Yeah, exactly. And me, I don't care your political affiliation if we can't get together about protecting kids.
And bro,
Like
I voted for the
it's
same dude
crazy.
you did.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 90% of the people that listen to this show voted for the same dude that you and I did.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are kind of just like, that's why I can't get involved with it, dude. Like, I don't, like, I see it, right? Right. I told you I heard the recording and stuff, but I can't just, and not saying it consumes you by any stretch, bro. I'm new to you, but like, I just can't dive into it like that. It's like, what's true? What's not? What's going on? Can we actually make a difference? It's like,
Yeah. And it's also coming to terms that like Israel, they're not our greatest ally.
that's
They
a
put
whole
all of
nother
this
fuck
into it.
freaking
Yeah.
can of
Oh,
worms.
yeah. Oh, exactly. And that's who Epstein was working for, and that's where all this blackmail and everything came from too. And it's also people not rolling their eyes, but they actually realize, crap, that's where it gets in. And then you get into World War II, you get into World War One, you get into so much world history of the stuff we're seeing right now.
It never ends,
No,
Vaughn. That's why I can't do it,
and you
because it
just
just
keep going down.
spirals and spirals and spirals.
Yeah, exactly.
No, so I'll leave it up to the big podcasters and the big influencers to run that. And, you know, I'm just the little guy
We'll get there.
there. I asked one other guy this question. I don't think I've ever asked it. Just out of curiosity, and then we'll get you out of here. You've talked to me on the phone for 45 minutes. You've talked to me on a podcast for coming up on 2 hours. What are your opinions on who Tyler is?
Oh, Tyler's a guy that just gives it to you straight. You, to me, you found yourself, you know yourself, and you didn't really have too many options for like what you knew you needed to do. I think you knew you were called to do this and you have the confidence to do it, and you just say it straight and you don't give a shit what anybody else thinks about you, and you're just going to move forward no matter what.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it's kind of the view I have on myself. Just curious what people think sometimes.
Yeah, like I saw you and I was like, this is a no bullshit guy. Like just, the type of guy you're just like, yep, he this would be a true friend who wouldn't be afraid to hurt your feelings, as long as he's giving it to you straight. The type of friend everybody needs.
Appreciate that. Vaughn, that's what I got, man. We were pretty timely. 10 minutes ahead of schedule, actually. Anything you want to leave everybody with, or where can people find you online, or just kind of closing thoughts here, brother? It's been an honor. I really enjoyed having you on. I appreciate you being vulnerable, and obviously we kind of just scratched the surface with some things. Maybe we'll run it back in 8 or 12 months' time to keep
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
keep keep people up on your story. But closing thoughts, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I guess no matter what you're going through, even if you are in the victim mindset, I mean, everybody has so many different mindsets, but you can always push forward and figure it out no matter what. And
Well
that's
said.
it. Yeah.
Well said. Stay on the line. We'll small talk for a little bit. Let me upload your file. But it was a pleasure, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for having me.